Ndugu yangu Ekuru, good morning.
Morning, Bitok.
How are you? Salama sana. Good to see you again. Watu wanashinda wakiniambia leta Ekuru. Na hii utaleta hii punguza yako tena tupunguze punda.
Wanasemaje Wakenya? Unataka kupunguza mzigo eh?
Wakenya wanasema wanataka kupunguza mzigo.
Kabisa.
Good to see you.
Lakini kuna watu waongeza mzigo hapo leo umeleta kwa studio.
Ndio nimekuletea mtu leo. Akwambie mzigo anaongeza ni ya kazi gani?
Tuambie waliambiwa wapi.
Ulisikia wapi? Look, good morning, how are you?
Good morning.
Good to see you. How are you doing? Wewe unasema unataka kuongeza mzigo vipi?
Si kuongeza mzigo. Ni make sure that mzigo umesambazwa.
Ikuwe mingi zaidi.
Hapana. Kila mtu ashikilia mzigo kidogo, Kenya isonge mbele.
Alright. Unajua ndio mgeni hapa. So nitakupa nafasi ujiintroduce kabla ya Ekuru wajadili na wewe.
Kama unagawia watu mizigo, unawaweka mizigo.
And I need to warn you. Kuna jamaa mwenzako alikuja hapa jana. Unajua alifikiria ni TV unaongeanga unaenda. Amelimu hapa mpaka akasema it has been a very long day. So unajua ikuuzie watu BBI ni ngumu sana. Ni kazi ngumu. But anyway, since you are a visitor here, wewe ni mgeni, ni mtu wetu hapa. I'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself.
Okay. My name is Muleka Kizito Ojambo Muleka. I'm the founder and managing director of Science Media Kenya Limited. Science Media Kenya Limited has two products. Product number one is Science TV that broadcasts in sign language with voice as an override. And product number two is Assistol. Assistol is a sign language application that we launched in response to COVID. And what happens is it allows sign language interpreters to access a deaf person in isolation without necessarily being in that particular room. Because what you realize is if a deaf person was to be served by an interpreter, and the interpreter is in full PPEs in terms of masks and everything, there will be no communication. So what we did is we launched this product to be able to serve, to have the interpreter with the doctor to have seamless communication in case a deaf person is in isolation. So this was launched in September, and I believe that is going to change the life of deaf people and to access employment, to access higher education, to access everything that is post-COVID. Okay. Yeah, that is the brief description of who I am. And I come from Busia County.
Unatoka Busia?
Ndio.
Nifikiri unatoka Ukambani, nimesikia makao sijui, nimesikia Mutua.
No, Kizito.
Muleka. Kizito ni jina ya Kiluya.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's shared.
It's shared.
It's a shared name because it's a Christian name, Catholic, the Ugandan martyrs. So what happens is people who got confirmation in the Catholic system, those who got confirmation in that particular year, most of us were called Kizito. Okay. So apparently it's a name that I took in. It has really stuck.
So someone was trying to inspire priesthood in you. Kino kaamua ndio kuja kufanya sana kwa. Oe, tuende kazi. Ekuru, jana nimesikia BBI imepigwa pause. Ni nini inaendelea pale?
Reggae has stopped.
Umesikia maneno?
Reggae has stopped.
Ni nini ilifanyika huko?
I think there are two things that have stopped reggae. It's just that the fellows at BBI are in denial and they don't want to accept that. I find it very irresponsible that leaders will be trying to assemble Kenyans during this time. To collect signatures at a time when there is COVID-19. The spread is real now. This phase 2 of COVID is a real challenge actually to the world, not just to Kenya. I see other countries that have got superior and high-tech healthcare system, really struggling. I mean, they're going under lockdown. Countries like UK, France, Austria, US, people are now dying. I think they are now at about 280-something plus deaths. So that stopped reggae in the first instance. And then, of course, the second thing that stopped reggae is the people of Kenya. The people of Kenya will not buy into the lies that is BBI. And I'm really happy that Kizito today will talk to us about BBI, because I want to listen very keenly. Because Kenyans are opposed to it. In fact, even if you do a poll right now, I mean, even just conduct a poll, Bitok, you'll be shocked how Kenyans are wondering, how can anybody now be talking to them about a referendum that is costing billions? I think I'm told something like what, 14 billion plus? Billions at a time when we are talking about how do we revive the economy, how do we actually ensure there's a healthcare infrastructure that caters for everyone. Yesterday, we lost an MCA in London Ward, Nakuru. The week before, we lost an MP, Murunga of Matungu. The other week again, we lost 7 medics doctors, for lack of PPEs. So really the question for me, and this is why I think reggae has stopped and it must stop, is what are really our priorities in the country right now? You know, as a parent, our children must still go to school. But it looks now, it's clear right now that we actually need IT technology. IT is no longer a luxury. It's become a basic human right. Just like countries like, say, Macedonia and others declare them as a basic human right. Because life has to go on.
Yeah.
We in the legal fraternity now, you must file your court papers online. So we have to think about IT in each and every part of this country. We have to think about education. We have to think about how we revive the economy. Small businesses have collapsed. People are being sold every day. In fact, if you look at the newspapers, Bitok, I mean, Kizito, auctioneers are auctioning people. But there's nobody to buy.
Moses Kuria.
Moses Kuria. You see, after Moses Kuria, hawezi kununuliwa. You've seen governors like akina Ekuru wakona mashida sija kulipa 40 million. Ni kubaya, boss. Ni kubaya. So during this time, so the question really that has stopped reggae, and I think Kenyans are asking, what really is our priority as a country right now? And maybe this is a question I think Kizito might want to answer for us, because he is pro BBI. Is BBI actually a priority for Kenyans now? And I keep on repeating a wisdom of Honorable Caleb Kositany. He kept on saying, tukikata BBI hakuna mtu atakufa.
Nobody will die.
Tukipuuza corona, watu watakufa. You know? So if you don't take care of corona and its impacts, we will die. The world is dying. So for me, really, the question I think that has also stopped, BBI is what are the priorities for Kenya? But there's another reason actually why BBI has stopped. What is BBI? Where can you posit BBI in the structure of governance today? You see, Otiende Amolo, very disappointingly, I mean, a lawyer I had respect for, because we sat with him in the committee of experts, we wrote the constitution together, gave a very lame excuse that the reason they have stopped signature collection is because the bill is not published. But what he did not want to tell Kenyans is who is to publish that bill. The reason the bill cannot be published or even gazetted is because it lacks status in the current structure of governance. If, for example, this bill came through the parliamentary initiative under Article 256, Justin Muturi, the Speaker of National Assembly, will cause it to be gazetted. If it's a government-sponsored bill, the Attorney General will cause it to be gazetted. If it was, from the Senate, Lusaka will cause it to be gazetted. And the reason it has stopped because, as I said before, BBI is unconstitutional. It is amorphous, it's directionless, it's repetitive. It is nothing actually new about what ails this country. Because for you to change the constitution of Kenya, you must pursue either of two ways. Parliamentary initiative, which is provided for in Article 256, meaning that you actually have to sponsor a bill, Kizito, through Parliament. But wanajua huko mambo kimeumana kule bunge, because the parliament is completely divided, the leadership is divided. There is no direction in this country. The second way you can amend the Constitution of Kenya is through Article 257, which is through what's called popular initiative. In other words, you come with general propositions, which you take to the people. Like the way Punguza Mizigo did. We came with about 15, 16 proposals last year. We took to the people. We asked them, do you agree we must reduce members of parliament? Do you agree we must send more money to the county? Do you agree we must end corruption? Do you agree that if you are at the age of 18 as a Kenyan, you must automatically be a registered voter? Do you reduce the commissions? All those things, And Kenyans agreed with us, and they gave us 1.2 million signatures. And that's why I drafted the Punguza Mizigo Bill 2019 Constitutional Amendment Bill. So the publication, to answer Otiende Amolo, because this is what he's not telling Kenyans, can be caused by IEBC. Because once IEBC confirms that you have actually reached the threshold of 1 million supporters, of registered voters supporting your constitutional amendment process, then they cause the bill to go to the county assemblies for debate. That's an aspect of publication. So BBI is struggling, and I think I really want to hear from Kizito. BBI is struggling. What is who is to publish BBI?
You know, my little bird, you know, I have birds all over. So my little bird was telling me yesterday what happened the other day is that the ODM guys went to State House for a meeting. Wakati walifika State House wakapata ni wao peke yao who were in that meeting in State House the other day. So I understand Baba was there at around 11 a.m. Jioni akaenda akarudi. So the other guys were not showing up because the bill was supposed to be discussed and forwarded for publication. So the other guys are insisting that this thing must be edited before it goes. What needs to be edited is not clear. Whether it's the executive or the issues of the MPs and all that is left to time. But I think there's also suspicion that is coming in. Nasikia Baba saizi ni mgonjwa zaidi. I don't know. This is just information I'm giving. Nasikia Baba nasikia kama amechezwa. Like now this guy wants to play us and play the other guy and come and play us or buy time. Because when it gets to 2021, who still wants to?
But you know what I'm thinking, I'm thinking maybe wisdom has eventually reigned on Uhuru Kenyatta to realize he BBI is not uniting Kenyans. It will be bad of his. It will be one of his bad, legacy, items. That honestly, if BBI today cannot even unite the leadership of the country, because the idea of BBI, I think let's give it to them. It was noble. The idea that let's build bridges among Kenyan society. It was a good thing. It was a good thing. I think it's a good philosophy. And for me, I had no problem with it at all. I want to jump in. But I had a problem, Kizito, you'll come in.
I'll let you jump in very soon.
I had a problem when they lied to Kenyans that BBI is aimed to establish what ails this country. And I keep on asking this question, and I think Kizito can respond when he jumps in. Why have we not implemented, Kizito, the TJRC report, Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission report? Why are we not implementing the Kriegler report? Why are we not implementing the Waki report, the CPEV report, the Akiumi report, Ouko report, and many, many others? And we listed in our letter, by the way, to Joseph Kenywa, the head of public service, about 9 reports, commissions that have actually established the problem with Kenya. Ndungu Commission on land irregular and illegal land allocation. Kwa nini to implement these reports? Then, because that's exactly what ails Kenya. And one of the things that BBI is not telling us, and I want Kizito actually to respond to that specifically, in 2017, some of the current proponents of BBI actually caused violence in this country. They mobilized their supporters. I don't know whether you remember Machozi Monday. There was that Machozi Monday, disrupting businesses, causing chaos in Nairobi. BBI is not telling us how do we deal with people like those ones who are actually causing problems in this country. Because they're the ones who are breaking bridges. Instead of saying to us that let's build bridges, what about the bridges that were broken? Who broke them? Kwa nini hao watu tusiambiwe how to deal with them? BBI is glossing through the real issues that are affecting this country, including, for example, just poverty, including corruption. They're not telling us how. I mean, Punguza Mizigo was very clear on that. Anyway, Kizito, you can now jump in.
You can jump in.
Thank you very much, Bitok and Daktari. I would like to pick this from what you've asked, and it's what Bitok asked. It's a very good question. Is our priorities right? And I would like to borrow this from even the developed economies like the US. There is, in fact, the number of deaths that have occurred in the US are much more than the number of deaths that have occurred in Kenya. But the question is, did the US stop its election simply because there was COVID? One, there is... we are
not in an election here, Kizito.
That's what I'm saying. If I want to say...
So that comparative is not
talk
right.
About BBI. BBI did not start during COVID. It is something that was started way before, and I would say that just immediately after our 2017 divisive elections. That's when our leaders, that is the president and President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga came together, and they decided that they asked themselves, and this was explained way before even the COVID-19, that what is it that is ailing this country? And the answers were very clear. The answers were that our system of politics, whereby the winner takes it all, is something that is actually causing the country to get to a level whereby everyone is fighting to get it, so that I get it all and deny the other. And the question they asked themselves was, can we have a situation whereby no one feels left behind, or no one is left behind? And in the development space, whereby we are also working around persons with disabilities, and the question has been, should we leave anyone behind in anything we are doing? And when they realize with their own wisdom that the current system of politics is factoring very many people out, then it's causing a situation whereby it's a do or die duel in the country during politics. So they came up with what I would say to offer leadership. And to offer leadership was that let us look at a modality or a mechanism that is going to unite this country together. And the uniting of this country, having also studied, it starts with what's happening at the top. Because they know very well that in Kenya, and everyone and all the listeners right now know that in Kenya, the leaders of particular communities shape the emotions and and even the conversations around the direction that these communities will follow. So the question was, if we are able to unite at the top as leaders, how is it going to be beneficial to the country? Then I go to the other thing that I normally I've coined this for myself, and I'm saying that the leadership or the political class in this country, what we've been having is whereby people have taken their business to be that the business of this country or the business of politics is the continuous existence of a problem and not solving. So when the leadership of President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga comes together and they say that let's bring our people together so that we solve this thing that is causing this problem so that it does not continue to be there, then you'll find that now my friend here, Daktari, will start now again opposing the same thing. He was in the committee of experts. In fact, they crafted 2010 constitution and they brought it to us, in which we voted for it. Unless he's telling us, or you are telling us, that actually what you gave us was substandard, and you should apologize to the public of Kenya on why, in your own wisdom, you could actually let the Kenyan public to pass such a document that within 10 years it has such monumental errors that are actually now taking again everyone back to where we are. The other thing is,
please explain the monumental errors in the constitution. So let's not lie to Kenyans.
So what I'm saying is, you are, in fact, having been in the committee of experts, you are the first person even to publish an amendment. I mean that the Punguza Mizigo initiative that you had stated. So why were you publishing this? Because you wanted to correct something, a mischief, or what you felt in the constitution that was not adequately addressing the current situation of the Kenyan public. But Daktari, in your own wisdom, you cannot pass a document or afford to the Kenyans to adopt a document like the constitution that 10 years later on it has such issues that again you are the first one to jump on the queue and bring the constitutional amendment through your Punguza Mizigo initiative. Then the other thing that
Kizito, can I come have a quick rejoinder before you proceed? Because it's important that we don't lie to Kenyans. First of all, I believe you're a Christian.
Yes, I am.
And I think as a Christian, you ought to know that the only documents we may not be able to amend are the Bible, the Quran, and all other holy books. But the Constitution is actually a negotiated instrument. So in the process of constitution making, Kizito, just in case maybe, I assume actually from your assertion, it's clear you never read the process of constitution making process in Kenya, you never read the reports, because there are, even in the committee of experts, in our last report, we actually told Kenyans, this document is a negotiated instrument. There are certain things we can agree with right now. It's a compromise. When you're making a constitution, by the way, there are things that, it's about consensus building. There are certain things that you can put in the constitution. There are certain things that you cannot. There's a whole debate all over the world about the process of constitution making. A constitution can be very prescriptive, or it can just be a set of principles and values. Now, if you look at the society we call Kenya today, in fact, right now, if I was to make the Kenyan constitution again, trust me, Kizito, I will not leave it to the politician. If you look at almost every chapter of our constitution, it says, Parliament shall enact legislation to bring into effect this chapter. An example I'll give you is chapter 6 on leadership and integrity. Okay? In leadership and integrity, we have set up the values and principles as a committee of experts. I don't know whether you remember the harmonized draft of November 2010. In that harmonized draft, we had actually prescribed the character and type of leader that Kenyans want. And by the way, one of the geniuses of Kenya's constitution is that chapter, leadership and integrity, because Kenyans are saying, to the entire world. And I want you to look at a website called constituteproject.org. You'll find all constitutions of the world there. And Kenya, surprisingly, is the only country that has dedicated an entire chapter on the kind of leaders that they want. But we did not have the nitty-gritties of what kind of leader do we need. So we said, let Parliament do that. Article 104, if you recall, the recall clause, it's called the recall clause, where a member of Parliament, if he goes there and just slumbers and anazembea kazini, you can actually recall that leader and fire them. Then we said Parliament shall pass legislation to bring into effect what? This chapter. What did the parliamentarians do? The first thing they did, they killed chapter 6 because it was targeting at them. Article 104, they killed it because now you are asking them, ni kama kufungia mbuzi na fisi in the same pen. You know, so surely if a hyena eats a goat the following day, surely why should it be surprised?
Na kusema it is a hyena which will decide what to have for dinner.
So again, Kizito, it's important that we read the constitution, because what I'm saying to you is this. I'm not saying our Kenyan constitution is perfect.
True.
Surely there is no perfect constitution in the world. It's like you saying, you know, why are we not perfect? Wewe si ulizaliwa uchi, saizi naona unavaa trouser, unavaa swi nini, alafu hata kuna wakati ulikuwa unavaa kinyasa, lakini siku hizi unavaa trouser. So it's like saying, why didn't you at birth wear a suit like the way you are dressed up? Ukiangalia Bitok saizi amevaa mpaka labels na hizo juu the taco.
Jimo brand man.
Brand, najua ni brand. Lakini kama kuuliza, why didn't
I was not born with a tackle jacket?
Exactly. So I think let's agree one thing, Kizito, even as we educate our supporters. A responsible constitution maker will ensure that there are mechanisms in the very, very constitution on how you actually change the constitution. And that is explained, Kizito, very well in Article 255, 256, and 257. And for me, one of my bone of contention with your BBI report and process is, surely, Kizito, which process are you following? So you tell Kenyans, because if you want to change the constitution of Kenya, you must tell Kenyans, I'm going through by parliamentary initiative or popular initiative. And that's part of the confusion of BBI. But there's another question you raised, which is very fundamental. And again, it's fundamental because it's a lie. Yeah, and this is the lie. At the national level, let's bring people together because that's unity. That's a lie, Kizito. Kenya, let's deconstruct Kenya. What we call the national in Kenya is the 47 counties of Kenya. It is the 1450 wards of Kenya. It is the 47 million Kenyans. And they are all in the counties. Counties today in Kenya are very representative. You come from Busia. And in Busia actually is a very perfect example. You have a governor from a minority community, the Iteso.
Yes.
You have a senator from the populace, Amos Wako.
Yes.
You have got a woman rep, you know, actually Mutua, Akamba. So really, in terms of even representation, unity, Busia is a perfect example of how actually people can actually come together and be united around leadership. So the problem you are advancing, Kizito, and let's be honest with Kenyans, there are individuals in this country, since independence or whatever, who have got this politics of entitlement that kama sio wao, Kenya cannot move forward. And these are the people you still call them prime minister. There is no a prime minister position in Kenya today. You know, that was disbanded. William, why is this country being defined around a few individuals? Ati kama si, like now, Kizito was even telling us earlier, actually Punguza Mizigo was a good document. Lakini what he's not telling Kenyans is because it was being promoted by Ekuru Aukot. But I'm sure if Punguza Mizigo was promoted by William Ruto or Raila or Uhuru Kenyatta, we will have seen the light of day. So the problem in Kenya we need to discuss, Kizito, is this politics of entitlement. Some individuals who think they own Kenya. Ni kama wako na title deed ya country. It's like the rest of us are just chattels. We are like just, like furniture in a house called Kenya. You can be moved here, moved there, sold.
They rearrange you at will.
So that for me is the problem, Kizito. Because today, honestly, if you think about the way Kenya is arranged, I don't see the point of actually saying, for example, you must amend the constitution to give help loans to students. I went to university at a time when under the old constitution, and we got help. It was an administrative issue. I don't need to amend the constitution to give me a tax holiday. That's an administrative issue. In fact, taxes change almost every year. Every time you have a budget, Kizito, Minister for Finance, makes arrangements on taxation and stuff. So, tusidanganya wa Kenya. What I would like us really, and I hope the TACO can actually, promote this idea. Can we have a candid conversation? Let's not be convenient politically or expedient that, because we want to advance a certain idea, because of a certain individual, so hata tudanganya wa Kenya. I don't think it's right. Me, I just want us to have a honest conversation as a country and actually to be proud of our country that we all call Kenya, and let's try to make it better for everyone. Because I'm sure guys in the diaspora today who are listening to this show, Bitok, will tell you that in the countries where they are, be it UK, ukiuliza kina Benon Minor who are in the UK, others in Australia, the US, systems work. Is actually plug and play. If you ask my friend Manu in Switzerland, it's plug and play. People don't care by the anymore, Kizito, about in the rest of the world, about, for example, who becomes the president or whatever. Because systems at the bottom work. And this is where, for me, I was promoting the idea in Punguza Mizigo. Let's have the 1450 wards of Kenya as the primary units of accelerating development. So that in each and every ward, you actually tick the box that do we have electricity running, water, hospitals, schools, job opportunities for the youth. Once we have that, Kizito, wacha nikwambie, hata ng'ombe anaweza kuwa rais and nobody will care.
Actually, there's a question for Kizito, and someone is asking, he's saying, ask Bitok, can you ask Kizito to tell us in his own wisdom if BBI is uniting Kenyans, and let him substantiate, because it's clear there isn't any uniting aspect in that BBI thing. Maybe you can just expound on what you're talking about unity, because that was a point actually you picked out on Ekuru.
Okay, thank you very much
the
for
mechanisms
that
of
question.
unity.
And what I want to bring out of this whole debate of BBI and what we are having right now is, can this country ever have leadership whereby everybody can say we have leadership? I would like to go back to Daktari's Punguza Mizigo initiative. How did he even try to bring the leadership? Trust me, we have leadership in this country, and people know, the people of Kenya know that we have leadership. So the question is, how deep did he reach out even to have people to discuss and say that, yes, this is what we have and this is what we want to put in, so that, because another thing is, it might be that when you find Bitok promoting something, it's bad. But when I start promoting it, it's good. So that is one of the things whereby there is, we are not trusting our leaders to give us direction, because what's happening, everyone wants to be a leader. So if all the 47 million Kenyans want to be leaders, then again they are blaming whatever is being proposed by any other person is being watered down. Then it becomes a problem. So the thing is, can this country coalesce and have people to give strategic leadership? And strategic leadership can be given through representation, which the people of Kenya have given the mandate through parliament. But again, when you go to parliament, the agenda that sometimes gets driven, it's totally, you get that divisiveness. So that's why I went back and said that we got two people who asked themselves pertinent questions. Why should we be having vicious issues that are every time bringing our development back? When elections are almost coming, then you find that even investment in the country, the foreign direct investment, is actually scaled down because people don't know how Kenya will behave. Can we have a country whereby you know that I am going to Kenya, just the way Ekuru has said, that hata ng'ombe ikiwa president Kenya, no one cares.
Nobody will care.
Can we have that system whereby, and this is what President Uhuru Kenyatta asked the country when the first time we met, they met at Bomas, that tuliulizana na rafiki yangu or my brother, that can we have a country whereby kila wakati, si ati ikiwa wakati tunakura and everything has to get to a standstill for almost 2 years, whereby you find that you are a president, yes, you get elected, but you only work for 2.5 years. The other 2.5 years is just politics, because everyone is doing what is actually...
That is in the first term, normally, in the first term.
It happens.
No, it's normally in the first term, Kizito.
But we find that
because
elections are coming after.
2.5 years, they are trying to get re-elected. But like now in the second term, and I think maybe you need to answer the question from Nani, Honorable Jules, is saying, how do you bring people together, pushing others away? And this is really a fundamental question that's being asked about BBI, and I think Kizito need to come out clean on this. BBI, let me put it in a simple, let me contextualize it. Kama BBI cannot even unite William Ruto, Uhuru, and Raila, and some of the top leadership. How can it unite 47 million Kenyans?
And I want to answer.
Please respond to that.
I want to answer this way.
Because you see, this is a lie that, for example, today, if Uhuru wanted to create a government of national unity, Article 130, let me just for the avoidance of doubt, let me just confirm. Article 130 of the Kenya Constitution says as following, Bitok. I mean, that's why it's important to read this Katiba.
And that's why I get you guys Katiba. New
Katibas
Katibas every week.
Ekuru Aukot, no. Let's read Katiba. The National Executive, Article 130 says, the National Executive of the Republic comprises the President, the Deputy President, and the rest of the Cabinet. And this article answers the lie that Kizito is trying to tell Kenyans now and BBI people that, oh, let's have BBI because it will unite Kenyans. In sub-article 2, it says, the composition of the National Executive shall reflect the regional and ethnic diversity of the people of Kenya. Now,
What's stopping?
What is stopping the president exercising his power, presidential authority in this Katiba, and actually create a national executive that comprises the regional and ethnic diversity of the people of Kenya? Because Kizito and his BBI people have not read Katiba, let me explain this to him. When we were making the Constitution, one of the things that we debated is how do we actually answer the question that these people are lying to Kenyans about right now, creating national unity. You know what we said? We said that the national executive should not be more than 22 cabinet ministers. Yeah? Now, if you are really a leader who wants to unite the country, Kizito, can't you read the formula? 22 cabinet. If I was in charge, if I was running this country today, and I want to invoke Article 130 of the Constitution, you know what I will do? I will elect the first 22 ministers from 22 different tribes of Kenya. Because Kenyans right now, we have 44 ethnic communities. Actually, it's like we had seen far. By that time, by the Makonde had not even been acknowledged as the Makonde. Has not
Makonde people.
Not been recognized, and the Asians have not been recognized as a tribe in Kenya. We were talking about 42 ethnic tribes. So, if you truly want to unite Kenyans, and I think this is, for me, a question that I could ask Uhuru, what has stopped him using his executive authority as president to appoint 22 different ethnic communities as cabinet ministers first? Then the second appointment, another 22 different permanent secretaries from different ethnic communities. You will have the face of Kenya. And no community will feel left out. Now, ujaenda bado kwa ambassadors, ujaenda bado kwa directors of parastatals, chairman of parastatals, special envoys. So, let's stop lying to Kenyans. And Kizito, to quite honest, we just have a lackluster leadership, fakeless leadership that does not care, that wants to reward its political cronies during election. And then you have people who have refused to accept democracy. In a democracy, there has to be a loser and a winner in an election. Yeah? And when you lose an election, so you have to organize what we say, lazima nikuwe kwa serikali. It means you don't even accept democracy. And I remember, for example, in 2017, Kizito, I'm sure you are in the country and you voted. Clearly, did not vote me, but it's okay. On a light note. Yeah. So in 2022, we used the Constitution to nullify the election. And I just want to explain to you why you guys are supporting 2017, sorry. Yeah. 2017, we used the Constitution to nullify the election. We said there was irregularity in the transmission of results. And we invoked Article 140, sub-article 3 of the Constitution. And Justice Maraga and the Supreme Court actually nullified the Constitution.
The elections.
The election. We were told, if you recall, Maraga even said, go for a repeat election. If they repeat the same mistake, come here again, and I will nullify. True or false?
True or false?
Then one of the people now, who these people are saying actually wants to unite the country, refused to participate in that election. And we really must call these people out, because these are the people who are actually killing the country. They are the people who are lying to people like Kizito and telling them that until mimi niko serikalini ati hakuna amani itaonekana kwa hii nchi. Kizito, kubali kushindwa. Ukikubali kushindwa, let the person who has won. Asi hata mimi nilishindwa. Bitoka tu ulienda huko ukasimama ukanyoroshwa kama
kanyorosha na tukarudi tu pale
tukarudi
tuko hapa.
Tukaendelea
Hatujatafuta bibi huko. Ya kusema no winner takes it all.
No winner takes it all. So, in a democracy, Kizito, let's accept this is a loser, and then once you lose, that's why we have structures such as opposition, have alternative government policies. Unaona? So that, for example, you look at the way, by the way, let me give me an example of the United States of America. Today, one of the reasons why Trump lost the election is the manner in which he handled COVID. Yeah?
Sure.
He politicized the wearing of a mask. He will go to rallies, no mask, no nini. And people, on the other hand, were seeing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were emphasizing on wearing the mask. So they saw them as responsible leadership. No. So an opposition, you don't have to be in government. Kama saizi kwa kusema kweli, truth be told. We have killed opposition in Kenya.
Opposition is in government.
Opposition is in government. This is the only time in the history of this country, Kizito, that we have a government that is opposing itself.
And that takes me to the question I asked that if the BBI is not uniting President,
which is true,
Raila and Ruto.
Yeah.
So, and this is a question that I wanted to ask Daktari, that the government of Kenya today is led by President Uhuru Kenyatta
and Raila.
Deputized by
Actually, Raila is now the deputy president.
Deputized by constitutionally. Deputized by.
Yeah, but you can also see that's cosmetic. Kwani ukiona mtu ana drown, unasema ati is swimming. We can clearly see.
Let me explain.
Kizito,
the president.
The other thing we like to do here at the taco, by the way, we want to be brutally honest.
Yes.
That's why I want also to be
Tukubali.
very honest.
Si hata watu wa Ruto wamekubali kwamba
Wamevinyiliwa.
Let me just ask this question. And I would like to respond to what our viewers actually asked. That if BBI is not able to unite President Uhuru Kenyatta,
and it's a party initiative.
Raila and Ruto, then can it unite the Kenyans?
Yes.
That's the question that is being asked. In Kenya, we have a constitutionally elected government led by President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy, William Samoei Ruto.
which one of your supporters, your godfathers, is refusing to accept?
No. And okay, the Honorable Raila Odinga the other day said in Bomas that the government of Kenya is led by President Uhuru and his deputy, and they are here. He said that. He did not say that he's led by the president and me. He said they are here, which was they were all seated.
Of course,
there.
he cannot say that.
Now, let me continue and say this. If Raila has reached out to the president and they are working on initiatives to unite the country, why should the deputy of the president say that I'm not part and parcel of that? Why should he be running away? And the president even complained and said the other day that I'm running a relay in which I'm supposed to hand over a baton. But the person who is actually supposed to receive the baton is running backwards. How will I hand over the baton? So it's actually...
Who was he talking about?
I don't know. The president just said that. Now, what I want to
But
say
is
is
that an admission of the fact that
no. Let me finish.
Even constitutionally,
let me finish.
Let him finish this now.
Let me finish. Now, if the president, like for example, Daktari, I know you are a family man. You have a structure in your family in which you are leader of that family, and you have a wife and children. If I come and reach out to you, and we announce that Kizito's family and Daktari's family have actually embarked on a certain project as two family members. Why should your wife bolt out and say that no, I'm not part and parcel of that?
So I'm not saying Uhuru is married to Ruto.
No, I'm just giving an analogy.
If our two families,
let him finish, then we'll give him.
If our two families meet together, but it is not reason for me to disrespect my wife because we are meeting with another family. Let's have a family table, a neighborhood. It's like meeting in a neighborhood. Mimi sitadharau bibi yangu. I'm not saying Uhuru is married to Ruto.
But since he has brought the analogy, you want to ride on it.
It's a metaphor.
Yes.
Metaphorically.
Yes.
So I cannot, because I want to make peace with the family of Bitok, or Kizito's family.
Now you bring Kizito's wife to your house.
I bring Kizito's wife
to your house. And is that you want to build bridges in the neighborhood?
If you announce,
doesn't make sense.
if you announce that there's been some form of disagreements between Kizito and my family, and we've decided that as the leaders of these families, right, we are going to work together. Why should your number two, who is your wife in the house, bolt out and say that now I don't support that, and in fact,
it depends.
She operates outside.
It depends, Kizito. If I disrespect my own wife and appear to favor another person's wife,
these are two men. These are two men who have decided to meet.
Now, listen. Let's bring this debate.
I think that analogy will backfire.
It's backfire.
So maybe
that analogy is wrong.
We rest the analogy.
Let's that question, because even somebody here disagrees with us using that analogy. Honorable Jules, let's talk about the Constitution.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's bring this debate analogy to the Constitution.
And the question is, let me throw some spanner in the works. The question is, and that is what you guys are arguing about, the unity thing. What makes us actually believe that it's only the politicians who can unite this country? I saw Otiendo Molo's tweet yesterday, and he was saying that BBI is actually here to unite the country. That minus BBI, there's war. You know, and the question is, why do we seem to believe that it's only the politicians who can unite the country?
Exactly.
We are okay. Kenyans are okay between an election and another election. It's only when we need to have another election that's what Kenyans actually realize that kumbe hatukwangi tumependana. So the question is, should we be talking about the fundamental discussions on uniting Kenyans and not the political class? Because if we unite the pyramid down, then the other guys will behave as well. But we cannot talk about uniting the pyramid up, who cannot even unite themselves, and imagine that these guys, other guys on the ground, are going to be united. And I would want, there's something I want Kizito to do. I want you to break down the BBI report for us.
Exactly.
In pointers. Tell us that 1, 2, 3 are the gains of BBI. Then Aukot will tell us he agrees or disagrees with 1, 2, 3. I think that's the best way to move forward. Give us what you think you believe. If you have read the report, that is, give us the pointers on BBI that these are the wins for the country, and then maybe then we can have a discussion.
I can start by answering you this way. The only way to unite this country is the way Punguza Mizigo Kenya had made the proposal that we use the ward as the primary unit of accelerating development, so that in each and every ward of Kenya, everybody enjoys the same services in this country. Same services. If it is health, if it is security, if it is good roads, if it is water, if it is job opportunities. If it is enjoyed in each and every ward of Kenya, trust me, there will be automatic unity, because then me from, say, Todonyang in Turkana North and somebody in Lunga Lunga will see ourselves as belonging to Kenya in equal measure. Saizi, when you have politicians who are pro-BBI saying 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling, you are actually saying the minority of people in Kenya today do not deserve. If today in Busia, and I'm happy Kizito is from Busia, if today in Busia County, the majority Luya said, hakuna, kiti zote hapa, from governor to senator, ni yetu, because of numbers. These cases will be told, and then Uganda, because you are majority in Uganda, across, Uganda.
So actually Kizito should be in Uganda now.
Kizito should be Ugandan. No, but Kizito is clear. But there's a fundamental question you raised before we run away from it. Away from the analogy of marriage, Uhuru and Ruto were elected on 1 ticket.
Yes.
And as the president, the deputy president is supposed to be his principal assistant. That's what the Constitution says, by the way.
Yes.
Why is the president pushing away his own deputy and preferring somebody who has been claiming to be opposition to be his closest ally? You see, it is for me dishonest of President Uhuru. And I'm not holding Ruto's brief here, but whether we dislike Ruto or not, he's the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. Anyway, that's a fact. Even trying to criminalize people who are seen with Ruto and the rest is so wrong. Why is it okay for Uhuru and Raila to be seen together, but it's not okay for Bitok to be seen with William Ruto? That kind of disunity is even disrespecting our own constitution. Because if we respect our own constitution and laws, you people came to us and said, mtuchague mimi president na my deputy president, tutawafanyia kazi. Hata walitudanganya, watapatia watoto wetu Jubilee laptop. You know, who lies to kids bana? You know, watapatia sijui watoto wetu laptop, sijui tutajengewa sijui stadium, hata wewe sijui unasikia bitoko ulipromisiwa Kimarini. Stadium huko Kimarini. Unaona? So the same people, they lied to us together, we elected them. Now they are divided, and then we are saying actually the country is divided. No, let's be honest.
The politicians are divided.
The politicians are divided. The people of Kenya today, in fact, let me tell you, ukiangalia kwa mfano vile hii nini, COVID has impacted on Kenyans. It has actually united Kenyans. And there is somebody who is saying BBI has actually divided Kenyans more than united.
Oh.
Because it's already creating camps.
As you collect your thoughts, Kizito, because I want you to
tell us what are your proposals of BBI. Mimi, I will counter them.
Right. So Kizito, as you gather your thoughts, because I think you need time to gather your thoughts, let me read out the comments a bit here. There's some comments kidogo, and then Kirudi, so that we have a constructive discussion. Yeah. Let's have the pointers. Let's break down the BBI report, because Kenyans are here to be educated. Hiyo story ingine ya nane. Kwanza amesema ati baba hakukuja na bibi yake, kwa nini anakuja kuongea mambo ya familia na ameacha bibi yake? David Silva said more than his thoughts on BBI. Ishara because of good morning to tackle. Ropi Preto and Kizito is saying that the main reason why Uhuru and Raila came up with BBI was for inclusion and that nobody will be left behind. Bidok asked Kizito, why is it that farmers' interest on tea, coffee, etc. is not included in the document? Good question. So point that out. Emmanuel Omenga and Sama ask Aukot, how is there devolution when counties beg national government for funds? That is for you, Aukot. Danson Kero and Sama Bitok, can you ask Kizito to tell us in his own wisdom, BBI is uniting Kenyans and let him substantiate because it's clear that there isn't any uniting aspect in that BBI. Thank you. Quite really bring Aukot, Otiende, Dr. Ndi, and J. Mwangi of BBI to the panel. Very soon we are going to have a very hot panel. Hapa tutamalizana kabla signatures zikuje, tutararua hapa hii discussion yote. Kila mtu afanye defense. Takuwa na upande mbili, ndakuwa katikati na maji ya ndoo. Jaribu kuvuka huko mwingine na mwagia maji. Kimutai Atora anasema 80% of the BBI is all about policy and implementation. Most of it captured in the 2010 constitution. Those things can be completed in parliament. Why do we need BBI to increase 15% to the 5% revenue to our counties? If parliament can't make laws, then there was no need for parliament at the beginning. The main agenda for BBI is the big fish agenda, Uhuru, Raila, and protecting their status quo. James Bodasema asked Kizito to explain how BBI solves winner takes it all. There's another question by there, you need to tackle it. Koitalelo Lekodo and contact details. We'll give you the numbers shortly, probably in the next 30 minutes. Kimutai Tosama throw away to that gender bill out the window. The Somali women don't like leading their men. Right. That is on watu I don't know kama ni watu huko. Jane Mumbi anasema huyu mlimtoa wapi? Kizito tulikutoa wapi Kizito? Kibi Chance anasema look debate the solutions rather than the problems. Kimtai vile anasema Kizito, if these two people are really genuine, why is this BBI thing Uhuru and Raila only who drives it? Where is the rest of Kenyans? Alfred Tai anasema General Kandi asked this guy Kizito the question DB asked, the president is won the way it is today. How will it have the face of unity in terms of representation? Evans Nyangano sama Aukot as my mind make the words work so that even a cow become president and nobody cares. We need to devolve 70% of our resources and let things work in the world. Actually, you can actually devolve 100%. Mambo Anguni sama thank you Daktari. Keep on educating them. Kimtai Vinasema Bitok the debate is imbalanced. Kizito can match a court. Asan Kenothia anasema each time we bring new katiba we try. Kama watu wa BBI wameshindwa na hii kitu hata. Asan Kenothia each time we bring new katiba we try to water down the previous. We have never fully implemented any of the previous katibas. Purity anasema morning long time mko poa lakini asante sana Purity umepotea. Ngozi Captain anasema give this BBI man enough time to talk to drive his point. I'm going to give him right now 15 minutes to tell us about BBI. Paridato Mudhe anasema ready to vote. Kuna kura tena. Anasema Aukot wewe ni kiongozi kamili, please ungana na timu kubwa ya DP na hii Kenya itakuwa fiti. Rumekaribisha huko. Andrew Jepsaigo anasema what became of CJ Maraga's court verdict? Why should someone who is not in government read Raila destroy a constitutionally elected government? Who is Raila? He was divided in a contested election. Huyu mzee ataharibu Kenya. Ono Jules Wever anasema the marriage analogy can't apply here, it's wrong. Benedict anasema Mr. Ekuru, you have a good idea. Why not coming clearly to Kenya and explain all these issues? Ama ni pesa au natuchange. Wasema tuangie pesa ukuje useme hii mambo. If kwa hiyo unasema look Sikuwa kama ile Okoa Kenya. Nasikia sio alienda wakaikulia.
The difference between us now, tulikuwa na pay bill last year, and we accounted for every shilling. In fact, we posted every record.
They posted the account, yes.
Yeah, Okoa Kenya
The statement. Okay. Keep quiet, you nasema, look, mambo ya relay, I want you to know that you can't compete, na Mkale mambo ya mbio. And number 2, labda Ruta alijua hiyo kijiti ya relay inaletwa na mlevi kona wezi koja. Unafuzi jini. Julius yourself anasema, Bitok, please tell Kizito that Raila came without his wife. Munga alitoka za morning enjoying the show from Coventry, United Kingdom. But what were UK? We love you guys. The UK guys. There's someone actually told me today that you did your PhD in their school in the UK. I'll tell you later. I don't have to tell you on mic. I'll tell you off air. DJ Mike Reese, this great show, ladies and gentlemen. You are truly bold and informed in the current political, economical, and social affairs. Keep on trashing and rock politicians. Thank you so much. Jeff Toshazama, we don't need a change of the constitution. We need a change of the leaders. Don't change the rules of the game. Change the players. Rafael Gibichi anasema, I agree. Word can be used to spur development and bring unity. Julius Okoma anasema, Bito, Kenyans are united. Let nobody lie to you. It's only leaders that are united, that are not united, and they aren't united simply because of their self-interest. Sultan Ari Thumbi anasema, falling from Juja St. Amos College. Good morning guys, watching live from Kericho. Punguza mzigo is the way. David Kamau, Lucia kwa wapi leo? Lucia ameenda commercial break, atakuja Monday. Jemjor po anasema, what are the 70 MPs for? Okay. Kagia Donya anasema, Bito, good show. We need to support my friend Ekuru, punguza mzigo. Watu wanataka punguza mzigo sana. Ken anasema, bring someone of equal brain with a coat like Otiende, not average person like Kizito. You can watch the Ekuru debate inshallah. Musifanye Kizito bwana. Kizito anajaribu kupanda kidogo. Maro Lenkija sema, what does bibi assure Kenyans of peace? Watu ni wabaya. Unajua kuna jamaa alikuja jana alisema siku ni mrefu. Wakenya wamechoka bwana. Watu Kenya wako na stress. Maro Lenkija sema, what does bibi assure Kenyans of peace after elections? By the way, you have a constitution. What is the assurance, that we have peace?
Just leadership bwana.
MC Kalia, chairman Menokwisha Kettle Dip, anasema jambo. Jimmy anasema, if they are collecting signatures to accept BBI, can we collect signatures to reject it too? Ekuru, Ken Kipton anasema, don't keep Kentan anasema, Dr. Ekuru Aukot, kudos. Bernard anasema, I ate myself for not electing Ekuru in 2017. Poleni sana. Wakenya tutalia tena after 5 years kusema kwani tukupigia mwingine. Abraham anasema, scheme on cancelling service kwa Italelo Lokodo anasema, let me just be clear and equivocal on the winner takes it all hypothesis in BBI. My presumption is that a country that believes in the doctrine of universal suffrage, where leaders are elected democratically on the ballot, it's clear the winning coalition will share the post. Will share the post in the we'll share the post in the BBI. How do you sort out the winner? Takes it all questions. Kindly make us understand. Watch a story mingi, my friend. Mzama wale wana win ndio wanatengeneza serikali. How does it solve the winner? Takes it all. Ebro Ndeke sabi talk. It is not BBI that we need. It is rather patriotic leadership. That is Ndeke. Ebro Ndeke, asante sana. Kangaru mwenye BBI wezi make watu enjoy na sweetness. For their sweeteners, for their own interest. I hope you'll give us time to come. Yes, I'll give you guys an opportunity. Philemon B and some, we need only implementation of 2010 constitution. Isa kasi ingine tunajua ni ya kufanya unye premier. Ngozi kama I have never seen a contest without a winner and a loser. Victor Samoei anasema, enjoying the show from Jubilee Headquarters. Watu wa Jubilee Headquarters, asante sana. Bado yuko ama anasikia siku hizi ni chai tu mnakunywa huko. Victor Samoei anasema, amazing show. James Okangoro, today BBI is for Raila and Uhuru. Tomorrow is going to protect people like Ruta, the Kenyan cartels and politicians. I don't support BBI. I also don't support Ruta. Raila being president, politicians ni wale wa kila siku. It's all games. That is James Onyango Rodi. Jiki anasema, I'm sure Kizito to be real with BBI and avoid seeking cheap political favors. Let's be real to each other. Because how can BBI achieve that 5% revenue to counties when we can't even achieve the 15% base in value of current constitution? All right, darudi kusoma comment. And Alex Ongero anasema, I was personally supporting punguza mzigo and implement the punguza mzigo na tupitishe. Ezibar Moiben anasema, good morning Bitok live wa Kenya, wameongea as by the comments. Ni kubaya. Haya, Kizito, I hope you've collected your thoughts.
Yeah.
Twende kazi.
I've actually listened to what the viewers and the listeners are saying. And one of the things that we've been grappling with in this country that even makes, even what Dr. is saying, that the current constitution is one of the best in the world. But what makes it hard for this constitution to tick and to help the citizenry of this country and the people actually to benefit and gain from its massive goodness that comes with it? It's because of leadership. So as long as we've sorted the leadership up there, whereby it's being sought to be, to be sorted by the BBI initiative, then you realize that, again, whatever we do, even if we stay with it for the next 100 years or the number of years that we want, where someone has said that leadership is all. So what I'm saying is, and what I want even Daktari to whatever, when he's responding back to to answer is, how do we sort out the leadership of this country? Just the leadership. Because everything, even Punguza Mizigo initiative, you'll find that for it to succeed and to make it something that is going to help the Kenyan Mwananchi down there, the grassroots level, that representation, the amount of resources that were supposed to go to the wards, were actually to be implemented and actually streamlined by the leaderships. So how do we sort out this issue of leadership? That is what BBI is actually trying to address. But the only thing is, what people are seeing, that the BBI initiative, they're only seeing it in the face of the president probably and Raila. Let's put these guys away and just assume they are not there. Does it solve the same problem? That is what we should be looking at.
And what is the problem with the leadership today, Kizito, that you want to sort?
The representation.
What about representation?
Whereby, and this is being addressed, the issue of every time we are going to election, I'm always looking at Ekuru Aukot. If he becomes the president, that definitely he's going to take it all and make the country not to be very representative.
How?
And Kizito, there's something I want to, I requested you to do something. I want you to break down the BBI report, some sections. When you talk about inclusion, tell us how it's going to be inclusive. Let's talk about divisive elections, tell us how it's going to work. Let's talk about the tax break, tell us the efficiency. Let's talk about devolution, development money, what is the procedure. Break it down.
Tell us, what is BBI?
I think he knows what BBI is.
No.
So let me go back about resources.
I think Kizito, let's not run away from this question, because this is a pertinent issue. We talk. Otherwise, I will not come to your show again to talk about BBI. Afadhali nikuje tuongea about COVID. Because this BBI thing is occupied the countries for months and
hata wenyewe wameshindwa. Kizito, nataka uniberekia down.
Tuambie, Jules anauliza, what is BBI? Anasema wacha story mingi, my friend. What is BBI?
Building Bridges Initiative.
Yes.
Break it down for
us.
In which every citizen and everyone in this country feels represented, feels part and parcel of this country. That is all that we want. From the leadership all the way to the distribution.
And that's what I'm saying now, in that BBI report,
So
can I need those things. I need the pointers.
More pointed question. Are you saying, Kizito, today that Kenyans are not represented in leadership? Are you saying that?
They are represented, but the issue is, as they are represented, is it curing and making us achieve the development we are supposed to achieve at the rate at which we are supposed to achieve?
So, Bitok, let me give a counter proposal.
Okay.
BBI proponents like Kizito, it's clear Kizito has not even read his own report, his own BBI report. It's very clear. But I won't blame him, because it's actually a very nonsensical report even to read. When you start reading it, actually you get nauseated. Because some of the things when I say, we should be proud of our skin color. When did I ever doubt being black? I mean, what's the problem with my color? We must trace where our ancestors came from, find out the reasons why they migrated there and came to Kenya. Surely, what is constitutional about that? Give people, when we amend this constitution, we will give help loans to students. Another rubbish. We give people tax holidays. Another rubbish. But to the question of representation, now let me compare what BBI is saying or not saying and what Punguza Mizigo is saying in terms of representation. BBI is lying to Kenyans that let's amend the constitution and create a representation at the national level that will unite Kenyans. That's a lie. It's a lie because currently Kenya is well represented in all the 47 counties, in all the 1450 wards, in the national government, in terms of ministers, whatever. Kenya is represented. In terms of MPs, we have got 416 members of parliament, both National Assembly and Senate. What Kenyans are saying, and this is what BBI is not saying, that Kenya is actually overrepresented And Kenyans are now doubting the value of representation, Kizito. And if you read Punguza Mizigo proposal, we actually did a comparative analysis with about just 3 countries. And let me explain to Kizito why we are overrepresented. The United States of America, one of the oldest democracies in the world, has 350 million people. It only has 530 representatives for both House of Reps and Congress, and Senate. House of Congress and Senate. Meaning in the United States, one person actually represents about 625,000 people. We also compared one of the other oldest democracies, India. A population of 1.3 billion people, it only has 800 representatives in both houses, House of Representatives and House of Congress, Senate. Meaning in India, one person represents about 1.6 million, I think 1.6 million individuals, okay? We go to China and we deliberately pick China because we are borrowing a lot of money from them and soon they will own this country if we are not very careful.
Also borrowing the single party rule.
Yes, 1.4 billion people with only 1,200 representatives. Meaning, again, almost one person in China represents about 1.6 million people. So come to Kenya, a population of 47 million. And it's a country that is struggling with basics like education. Even at independence, they say to us, we will eradicate poverty, disease, and ignorance. That never came to pass. So those are our priorities. But looks like now we are placing more priority on representation. And to Kizito, that representation has not even cushioned the people of Kenya from a national debt. Today, our national debt, Kizito, is going to about 6 trillion Kenya shillings. Meaning, hata saizi ukiwa na mimba in Kenya, hiyo ni deni.
So kushika mimba is a risk affair.
Mtoto akizaliwa anazaliwa na deni. Almost each one of us.
Sisa ni tena siku hizi ni deni.
Ni deni. Each one of us owes about 120,000 or thereabouts, 100 Kenya shillings. Now, how has our many representatives, how have they actually cushioned us from those debt, which is even undermining the development you talk of, Kizito? Because this representation you keep on telling Kenyans, which is a lie, is not equating itself to development. And by the way, we did an experiment. When we were promoting Punguza Mizigo, Kiambu had bought the idea, because they are majority, they are about 2 million people, they cannot be equated with the people of Lamu, who are about 400K. And we told them, okay, fine. Let's explain this representation in terms of how the leadership is cushioning us from certain burden. We picked the national debt at about 6 trillion. We say, okay, proportionately, let's apportion each and every Kenyan this debt. Because hii ni mzigo lazima utabeba kama Mkenya. Yeah? You as a parent, me as a parent, mtoto wangu anadaiwa, mimi nadaiwa, my grandmother anadaiwa, baba yangu alidaiwa before he died, nini kila kitu. So, if we apportion, so the people of Kiambu with your 2 million, you owe to somebody about 16 billion Kenya shillings. If you are from Lamu at 400K people, at about 200, you owe something like about 5 billion people. So, how has the many MPs in Kiambu cushioned the people of Kiambu, the 2 million of them, and how the three MPs in Lamu cushioned the people of Lamu from this national debt? Because that national debt is undermining development that Kizito is talking about. It's undermining education, it's undermining health, it's undermining road infrastructure, it's undermining food security, it's undermining everything. When the VAT Act of last year was passed in Parliament, it imposed VAT on basic commodities. Basic commodities. Mafuta ya taa. Imagine that villagers use powdered milk, sujui nini, basic things. So Kizito, and I want you to answer, BBI is pushing for this so-called representation through unity, and therefore to bring development.
Mimi naona historia ya BBI ni kama imekwama. So tuangalie magazeti alafu tukirudi. Ama bado kuna maneno ya BBI.
And I think let's kubali tu. BBI is saying increase representation. Somebody is asking here, who said we want 70 MPs? For what?
And they're not elected, they're appointed. They're nominated.
Who said we want 47 more senators? Kwani hao ambao wako saizi wameshindwa na kazi? You know, that's the question we should be asking ourselves, Kizito. You know, Senate has met several times. Right now, counties are actually begging for money. Why are counties begging for money? Because the current leadership in Kenya is disrespecting the constitution. And let me answer the question that somebody asked me. I mean, why are counties begging for money? Counties are begging for money because we have got a government that is not respecting the constitution. It is saying it must allocate money. Kizito, explain to me this. Counties of Kenya are getting at least 15%. That's the language in the constitution. At least, meaning nothing stops the president and this government to even give 80% to the counties of Kenya. Nothing stops. Because the language in the constitution is very clear. At least. Today, why are counties begging for money? And why are we keeping 85% of national revenue at the national level? What is the national? You know? So Kizito, tukubali pia. Kama if it's not, there's nothing wrong, by the way, Bitok, generating an idea. There's nothing wrong. But also if the idea is pathetic and awful and fails, let's also accept it has failed. Sindio?
All right.
Ni kama you are driving your car and it breaks down on you on the highway. Si unaita mechanic akutengezea gari ndio uendelee na safari. Huwezi kuinsist I want to drive a car that is actually has broken down. BBI has broken down. You know? It's broken down.
Tendo kwa magazeti, tukirudi tunaanza kuchukua simu. Ni kama you're going to pick your call. Tuache tukimbia gazeti kwanza kidogo, kwa sababu sasa ni kama hapa kuna shida kidogo. So when we come back, mtakuja kuchukua simu. Utaweza kupiga simu, nambari ni 0779 800 or 779 800 or 779 800 utaweza kupiga simu. Bunge la mwenyenchi iko wazi, lakini wacha nikimbia kwa magazeti kidogo, alafu tukirudi tunajua itakuwa vipi. The Standard newspaper, the Standard, start with the Standard newspaper. Acha nikimbia kidogo niwaletee gazeti pia hapo. Let me see. All right. Haya, gazeti ya The Standard. The gazeti ya The Standard inasema why reggae stopped. Inasema get the president tuanza pale mambo ya Uganda. Baadaye mambo kunaenda pale Uganda, Museveni ameleta shida. Get the president brings out the ugly beast in Museveni. Elections in Uganda, on Ugandan elections. I don't know what's going on. Gazeti pia ya hiyo ati ya Standard inakuanga na visanga. All right, elections. Uganda on the edge as the region's longest serving strongman deploys soldiers to crack down on citizens protesting the arrest of Bobi Wine, the youthful politician leading campaign for change. Why reggae stopped? What next? All eyes on the big three politicians as speculations grows on the future of BBI after referendum exercise was postponed amid reports of pressure from the clergy and disagreement on the pace and scope of changes. All right. Naona pia kuna hapo kuna viongozi hapa. Murkomen anasema congratulate President Kenyatta for postponing the BBI signatures launch against all odds, provide room for consensus. Rafiki ya Ekuru, Paul Mwangi anasema ignore narratives on how signatures launch delay was caused. On the signatures long delay was caused by search for consensus. Sounds like political exciting news, but simply not true. Dennis Wawiru anasema the two leaders will communicate. Two leaders, and you want to unite five. Two leaders will communicate to us when they are ready to receive the bill and unveil it. The most important thing is that we are ready. Junaid Mohammed, Rafiki yangu tumamwita. Junaid Mohammed, we've invited you for the show. You promised to come for the last 3 weeks. You have not shown up, so I want to call you officially. Tafadhali kuja. Some they dispensed with the printing last night, and we should be taking the next practical steps sometime soon, and most likely next week. Pale chini sport billionaires in a vicious God battle. Wrong bet. Wrong bet. For years, they were known as the dynamic duo of the betting world, raking in millions of shillings by the minute as gambling became a national pastime. Now they are placing wagers against each other in corridors of justice over money and reputation. Interesting country we live in. Aura of COVID. Sick doctors on forced duty. By the way, I've been receiving a lot of inboxes on the doctors, the issues of doctors. I'll start looking at them. Going bust, Kenya 675 billion debt suspension. Hey. The government is broke and needs a 75.5 billion debt relief. Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ekuru Aukot now says Nairobi is willing to take an offer to defer repayment of a portion of its debt. The problem, that will put the country's credit rating at risk of a downgrade. All right. This Kenya we live in. Mystery of meetings that froze BBI push. The motive of the last-minute cancellation on Wednesday evening of signature collections to back constitutional reforms was unclear yesterday, even as it emerged that the draft bill had not yet been submitted to the government printer, contradicting the Building Bridges Initiative team statement that the draft bill was taken for printing 2 days ago. Haya, kuna hapo pia mambo ya confession. Doctors who test positive for coronavirus but are asymptomatic are being forced to keep reporting to work, exposing hundreds of thousands of Kenyans who visit hospital daily to serious risk of infection. Baona picha pale ya mambo ya Uganda, 7 dead in Uganda as Museveni and Bobby Wine flex political muscle. Supporters of Ugandan musician turned politician Robert Kyagulanyi, also known as Bobby Wine, protest against the arrest of Kyagulanyi during his presidential rally in Kampala on Wednesday. Kampala Police Commander Moses Kavero says Kyagulanyi had been arrested for violating coronavirus control measures. Kyagulanyi in mambo ya Uganda. Kyagulanyi. Bora umesikia Bobby. Visit virus thing. 5 MCS dead in 1 month. Very sad. Dozens of members of the executive are indisposed and several dead, forcing closure of county assemblies and disruption of service delivery. Samuel Karanja Mbugwa, London Ward, Unimita Mpota John Juguna, Elsgate Ward, wenye alipoteza na COVID-19. Peter Chomba, Huruma Ward, Wasingishu, Kennedy Maiyenya, Kia Mokama Ward Kisii, Mohamed Atin dominated Mombasa. Hao ni watu ambao tumeweza kupoteza kwa sababu ya COVID-19. Gazeti ya The People Daily, People Daily wanaanza intrigues on in BBI signature delay. Divided opinions, that is The People Daily. Divided opinions on the cancellation, divided opinion. Whereas the president's men blame logistical issues for cancellation of the event, Ali says his deputy claimed the move was prompted by a meeting between the two. Interesting time to live in. The standard is working on a new date with a comprehensive program of rollout activities which will be communicated in due course. Apple Mwangi narratives that the BS was launched was considered soundly politically exciting news in I think my summer pale. Otiendo Matsama, the idea of launch of collection signatures is not a legal or constitutional requirement. It is merely a political statement. Caleb Kositany, there is an urgent need to review the report. This process has serious implications on the future of this country. Caleb Kositany, karibu on Tuesday. Karibu tackle next on Tuesday. Kuja tuambie ni nini mnakanyagia na BBI pale. Anyway guys, that is it in the newspaper headlines. Sitaki kuingia ndani sana kwa sababu ya wakati. I'll start with you, Aukot. I know you've picked a few things, especially on coronavirus. Then we'll go to our friend Kizito. Yeah. Doctors are being forced to work.
You see, it's a tragedy that actually all over the world, by the way, one of the biggest debates in combating COVID-19. See, BBI. So, one of the biggest debates in the world about combating COVID-19 is how we take care of our frontline soldiers, doctors and nurses. And the basic requirement is that we must provide them with protective gear, the PPEs, for example. And also, to be able to enable doctors manage this pandemic, a country must be able to, for example, test en masse, people en masse, so that even doctors are then able to manage the pandemic. Right now, it's almost difficult. In fact, I'm so scared of hospitals, and so many people are, because hospitals now are actually the number one spreader of this COVID.
Wacha niko disrupt kidogo Ekuru,
Yeah,
tuchukue simu. Nasikia wananchi wanasema hello. Hello.
Hello.
Jambo.
Hello. Jambo sana.
Leta habari tusikie.
Okay, I'm called Jeff.
Jeff.
Yeah, but my name on FB is Atenkeeper.
Oh, Atenkeep.
Okay, yeah.
Unapiga kutoka wapi hata?
I'm calling you from Eldamaravin. Okay, I really like what you're doing, Gerard. Okay,
Thank you so much.
based on today panelist. I think I really like the way Ekuru is handling issues. I think he's taking us into the world of reality, because I think the government of the president, as in Uhuru Kenyatta, should now be handling COVID as a priority, because you now think the cases are going high. Most of the hospitals are not that equipped. Actually, I'm an health worker. Yeah, and I've seen, I've experienced, as in most cases, and I've seen people losing life because of not getting oxygen, or as in because most of the hospitals are not prepared to handle the issue. So I think the priority at the moment is COVID-19, as not BBI. Yeah.
Okay.
That is my comments for today.
Asante sana Aten. Thank you so much for watching the program. We'll see you again. Nashukuru sana.
Na huyo ni mtu kutoka kaunti yangu ya pili Baringo
Sema unatoka wapi Baringo?
Yeye mtu Lembus.
Elda Maravin.
Muti ya Elda Maravin?
Lembus.
Sasa ndio mti yako hapa nimewaletea. Lakini mlikataa kupunguzia ya punda. Asante sana.
But he should not stop trying, as like I think at two time atasucceed.
Kabisa ni kweli.
Yeah.
Aendelee kusukumana.
Aendelee kusukuma kabisa.
Alright, asante sana. Thank you so much my brother. Have a good day.
Thanks for the good work.
Alright. Keep sharing na mko na share whatever broadcast. Watu wako nani? Paul, I'll be interrupting you once in a while as the calls come in.
I think I agree with him that surely the priority right now, just like everywhere else in the world, is how to combat this COVID, bring businesses back, bring the economy back, look into issues of education, because clearly COVID has affected many things. It has actually reorganized the world. And I think for the first time in the history probably of mankind, it does not matter whether you are from the most developed or the most rich countries in the world. COVID has actually equalized all of us, and therefore there are certain things that we need to do even globally, regionally, to make sure that countries are comfortable. If you saw, for example,
I'm interrupting you again. Good morning.
Good morning, Gerard.
How are you?
Very well. This is Jules.
Oh, Jules.
Ekuru Aukot.
Hey, Jules, karibu, habari yako?
Salama sana.
Jules, unavutanga nini asubuhi bwana?
Sikuvuta, unajua hawa vijana so acha niache kuwaita vijana. Hawa young people unatuletea kwa tackle squeeze wana disappoint sana. Ulileta mijungu jana.
Mulimaliza mijungu bwana. Mijungu najua alipoteza 15 kgs jana.
Mijungu the former MTV.
No, Mijungu the brother now the former MTV guy.
Acha niache kusahau kusalimia Kizito.
Good morning.
Now, Bitok, tafadhali.
Sema Jules.
Mimi niko na kitu moja tu ninge request. Tuletee hao jamaa wenye wako kwa committee, so because there are things we need.
Nani alitoroka? Niliambia Mwangi akuja akulana na Ekuru akaingia nyasi na wakati alisikia Ekuru.
Mwangi akifika hapo tutamroast vibaya sana, because kwanza anafaa kuja tuambie who gave the views. Nani walienda kwake akawaambia tunataka prime minister, tunataka deputy prime minister, tunataka sijui nini. Nani alienda kwao? Mwananchi mgani? Ni wa area gani walienda wakaambiwa tunahitaji 70?
Walisikia wapi?
Walisikia wapi? It's something I said yesterday in the talk. Nataka nirudie kwa sababu Ekuru Aukot kwa hapo. And I would want him to put his wisdom in it. Yes. One, hii mambo ya hiyo help. I asked a question yesterday kwamba many Kenyans are dropout. Wengine walifika class 2. Wengine walifika class 8. Wengine wale wamejaribu sana, they've gone to form 4. When you tell this guy about help, that you have 4 years not to pay help, what are you telling this guy?
Which help?
Anamaliza form 4, ameingia hustle, analisha familia yake. What do you mean when you tell him ako na miaka 4 ya kulipa help? The second thing was this tax holiday.
Yeah.
Many of us young people are jobless.
That's true.
And you're here telling us about tax holiday. What are you telling us? Ile kitu ingine ningesema ya pili ya second last ni mambo ya devolution. Saizi 35% is a problem. We have county suppliers hawajalipwa for the longest time ever. Madaktari, they are almost downing their tools in the midst of a pandemic. And you are being given sweeteners hapa kuambiwa we will be given 35%. Hii pesa iko wapi? Where is this money? Aya, hii ofisi ya prime minister, as I said yesterday, it is a baggage. Raila alisema kwamba si mshahara, it is not the salary. The salary that atapata ni salary ya MP. We are not talking about the salary, as I said yesterday. The office of the prime minister comes with a baggage. Cost of running the office. It has a budget. Name it, the motorcade. So, tafadhali, Kizito tuambie wa Kenya ukweli. To stop confusing Kenyans with these small things tunaambiwa na godfathers.
Sawa Jules, na ukujie nini yako? Ukujie merchandise yako next week.
Kabla unikate Bitok.
Nakukata sahi.
Let's have a conversation without Ruto, Raila and Uhuru in our mind.
Haya. Hello, good morning.
Good morning Bitok, habari ya wewe ndugu yangu?
Salama sana, nashukuru. Nazungumza na nani?
Unazungumza na bwana Geoffrey Odhiambo.
Yeah, Geoffrey Odhiambo, wanangu papa.
How are you baba?
Salama sana, habari ya Kisumu. Ber.
Kisumu tuko sawa. Tunaangalia tu hii sarakasi ya BBI. Salamia Daktari Ekuru Aukot.
Nimesalimika Omera. Hivi nani?
Adema Bera, habari ya wewe ndugu yangu?
Mimi iko tu hivi tu bile.
Haya, ngangania sisi kama Wakenya wala ambao wajiwezi bana.
Najaribu lakini ninachapo kiboko na baba. Nasema punguza mizigo ni punda, punguza dunia.
Kwa shauri nafasi yao mahali wanataka kukulia ndio inakuwa finye kidogo. Na usalamie huyo ndugu yetu mwenye anatudanganya juu ya psychophone.
Anaitwa Kizito.
Yaani mnakelea uzito kwa Kizito bwana.
Sasa mimi nimeshukuru nyinyi kunipa hii nafasi kwanza.
Haya, tuambie bro.
Cha pili. Hii nchi hatuhitaji kitu inaitwa BBI. Hii nchi chenye tunahitaji.
Hii ni watu wa Kisumu mnasema hivyo?
Mimi kama mtu wa Kisumu tena mtu wa Jubilee mwenye nimeangangana na Jubilee from 2013 hata wakinichomea vitu yangu kwa shauri hawataki hiyo democracy, wanadanganya nao watu kama TV. So what we need in this country ni leaders kukuwa honest wakienda kwa TV wakiongelesha wananchi wake. Leaders kukuwa watu ambao wanaamini kenye wanasema kwa mwananchi wa chini. Tukiwa na viongozi wenye watakuwa wanaongea ukweli, hii nchi itakuwa mbali sana. Sio mambo ya katiba. Tabia zetu. Tabia zetu ndio
mbaya.
Na mimi naongea kama pia Wakenya wananisikia. Najua mimi ninapenda kusema ukweli because sisi viongozi tunapenda watu wa kutudanganya, people who are psychophants, nyuma yetu kutupanguza ndio wapate viti. Hiyo sio uongozi. And that is where we are going wrong in this country. Tunaelewana? Secondly, hii nchi imeungana, Wakenya wako mahali moja. Ni viongozi wachache wala ambao hawakuwa nafasi yao labda kukua mahali wanataka haijafika ama Mungu amekataa. Tunapatana?
Na kabisa.
Na kama sisi viongozi tutakubali kuwa hapa wakati nimengangana na hii safari mpaka mahali nimefika, kama Mungu hajanijalia kufika hapa, wacha niwache hii nafasi kwa wengine. Hii nchi itakuwa nzuri zaidi. Na hiyo pia ambia watu wetu, especially hizo watu ya Luo Nyanza. Because mimi hiyo demokrasia hata Raila Odinga mwenyewe akisema hapo, that is not what we practice in the Luo Nyanza, especially even in Kisumu. Because mimi nimepitia machungu ya hiyo demokrasia yenye inaimbwa na kudanganya watu. Watu wetu hapa. So sisi tukiongea, mimi nikiongea kama mimi naongea juu ya uchungu kwa shauri, ninasikia uchungu sana nikiwaona kwa TV wakidanganya watu, na nikiona huyo ndugu yangu ameenda tu shule vizuri, Mungu amemjalia amefika hapo, na anaweza kuja na kitu, unataka kudanganya vijana wenye wanahangaika leo.
Alright.
It is not good at all. We must change our characters as leaders. When we change that, and especially sisi watu wenye kutoka Luo Nyanza. Because hii nchi tukiangalia, Daktari Ekuru Aukot ako hapa. Tukimaliza uchaguzi, umewahi sikia Turkana watu wanapigana ati uchaguzi imeibiwa ama imefanywa?
Hapana.
Let us be honest. Mbele kwa Wakenya. Ni sisi ndio tupunguze tabia ya kwenda kuchochea wananchi huku kutoka kwetu kuleta shida kwa nchi.
Geoffrey,
tusitumie wananchi kwa manufaa yetu.
But Geoffrey,
Yes.
while you are at it, I agree with you totally. Unajua, we can blame leaders on the one hand, but pia sisi wananchi we have to take certain blame, because our wananchi, Geoffrey, wanatoka wapi? These leaders don't come from planet Mars or Jupiter. They come from within us. You see, some of these leaders are actually a reflection of us, society. Kwa nini sisi, na mimi I keep on saying, kuna mfano mmoja I like giving, but people wanakuaga na kasirika nikipeana mfano. In 2017, Wakikuyu wengi waliambiwa dhuraku kumira, ati mjitokeze kama siafu, mpige kura. Wakikuyu wakaambiwa na Uhuru, udhamaki ni wito, dhamaki ni shao. Ati yani leadership yetu, samaki ni ya Wajaluo. Lakini when Raila and Uhuru met and had a handshake, Wajaluo na Wakikuyu wako wapi saa hizi? Si bado wanapambana na corona na mashida.
That is it.
So the truth also, Geoffrey, is this: we can blame these leaders, But at the same time, let's also blame ourselves as the people who elect these leaders. Because Raila ana kura moja, Uhuru ana kura moja, Ruto ana kura moja, even Ekuru Aukot ako na kura moja. Lakini ni kura ya watu inamfanya kiongozi. So this is a very serious conversation we must have in our communities, among our friends, and that's the only way we can change this country, Geoffrey.
I agree with you. Very, very correct. Lakini unajua kitu moja, Daktari Ekuru Aukot. Wewe ni mwanaharakati na tena wewe ni mwanasiasa na wewe ni kiongozi. Ukiangalia other regions in this country of Kenya today, umewahi ona other regions mahali kuwa mtu anaharibiwa mali yake kwa shauri ya support mtu fulani?
That's true.
Inafanyika only in Nyanza. That one, let us be black and white. We should not tell Uhuru that it's due if you don't do this. Those are nonsense. What we need, it is the discipline from the leaders. Because sisi ndio wananchi. Pia sisi ni wabaya kivyetu. Na kwa nini sisi ni wabaya? Kuna ile tabia wewe mwenyewe kama mtu umemlea. Leo niko na vijana, niko na wasichana. Nikianza kusema, unajua Ekuru Aukot sio huwa mtu mzuri. Na huyo Ekuru Aukot ndiye ananizuia mimi kulima ile shamba. Unajua huyu mtoto akiwa darasa la pili ama la tatu, atakuwa akiwa anajua baba alisema na ndio mbaya. Na kwa shauri fulani amesema hiyo ndio lazima tutafanya. Are you getting that? So ni sisi pia ndio wabaya. Na sisi pia tukipata nafasi kama viongozi, ni sisi kuambia watu tuachaneni na hii Kenya. Tuko kabila 42 kitu kama hiyo. Si kweli?
44 sasa.
Tanzania wako na makabila ngapi?
Over 100.
Mbona wabadilishi katiba kila siku?
Discipline of leadership.
Kila siku sisi tunaambiwa katiba ikibadilishwa tunalinganisha na Amerika sijui wapi. Leo Amerika ndio ile Biden na Trump. Wapi mali watu wameenda kusema tunataka kubadilisha katiba ndio Donald Trump apate nafasi na mwenzake apate nafasi. Where is it? So we must be leaders who are honest. And this hii mambo ya kufuata mtu, kufuata because ndio utapata kura, and I'm urging leaders. Today me I'm telling them, President Uhuru Kenyatta amefanya mzuri ndio tukakuwa na amani. Lakini amani ilikuwa imekosa ni hapa Nyanza. Sisi wale ambao tumesupport Uhuru Kenyatta from 2013 until today. Ni sisi ndio tumeumia.
Asante sana ndugu yangu. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Gerald.
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing very well. My name is Musumbi. I'm calling from Nairobi.
Yes, sir.
But my home county is Makueni, where things are happening. Yes. Mine is just a comment, and maybe to invite Ekuru Aukot and the other gentleman input. The way I see the whole issue of BBI, of course, from the word go, my thought about BBI has always been it is a political witchcraft.
Witchcraft, then?
Yes, and I want to explain because for me it looks as a space of manipulation. It's a place of veiling a lot of things. And one of the things which is veiled by BBI is just pure leadership in action, no intentional foresight, and no practical vision, or how do I put it? Servant leadership driven agenda. And for example, let's look at just at maybe two issues. For example, when we talk about relief from ELB, or you are going to give tax relief, those are policy issues. And the question is,
very administrative.
Why? Yes, actually, yes, administrative. Why do we turn issues that we're supposed to be doing into national conversation? And I think that is where the issue is.
Actually, we are politicizing them. We are not even turning them into a national conversation. We are politicizing for selfish reasons.
We are exactly. And that's why for me, I find, there is this issue of turning our inaction, translating it to a national conversation. I'm not able to do this for whatever reason. For example, there's something which was very painful which came up, I think, last month, or rather, I observed from our neighbors in Rwanda. During the lockdown, those guys started making classrooms.
Yeah.
Because of the visionary leadership which is there. We as a country, when we woke up, with all the beautiful constitution that is in place, the first thing we talked about was classrooms, was desks. Instead of thinking the capacity, because where are you going to squeeze these desks into? Okay? And so when you look at that, you begin to realize that we have a syndrome whereby instead of acting and doing the right thing for the good of the people, we escape and we make it a national conversation. And so we begin to throw letters at what is supposed to be undertaken by just the right spirit and the willingness to do the right thing. And so my question maybe to Ekuru and those who are governance experts is, how do you cure this mentality of turning what we are supposed to be doing into a national conversation? It's just like saying, I'm a father, so instead of paying school fees, kujeni tuongea, tujue mambo ya school fees, how do people pay school fees, where does school fees come from, and maybe that time you have money in the bank, but you want to have a conversation. Instead of just paying school fees, and let the children go to school. And so for me, that is what pains me as a Kenyan. I see a lot of what we are supposed to be doing always being turned to a national conversation and throwing letters at it. And as a believer, there's something we call the letter always kills, but the spirit giveth life. Where is this where we will ever find that spirit to give life to this nation? Beyond the letters that we are constantly trying to craft in the name of BPI, in the name of referendum, in the name of, all these political drives and shenanigans and, activities. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my brother. Have a good day. That was quite a very sober Kenyan. Speaking right there. And Kenyans by the way, kumbe Kenyans wanajuanga ni nini wanataka. Lakini ni kama vile amesema kuna kauchawi kana kujanga wakati wa siasa, and then there comes in the euphoria.
Nafikiri kuna wakati
there's one caller now that we close.
Sijui wanaonaga nini.
Wanaona maajabu.
Yeah.
I think let's speak to this one guy here. There's one called somewhere called almost 7 times. Tusikia anasemaje. Alex Ogero, ndakwambia mahali utachukua merchandise yako. I'll tell you how you're going to pick your merchandise. Alright. Ano jamaa potea hapa. Alex Ogero, utakwambia vile utachukua merchandise. Sema Gerald, kindly give me the details on how to pick the merchandise. I'll tell you. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Bitok.
How are you? Sorry, I really missed your call. Ilikuwa bahati mbaya ukipiga kuna mtu tayari. Niambie dadi. Nazungumza na nani?
Nataka kuzungumza na Nyabadi ya leo lakini.
Salama, naongea na nani?
Naongea na Eric Okodo.
Eric Okodo.
Yes, mkazi wa Busia lakini niko hapa Nairobi.
Unatoka mahali huyu jamaa anatoka? Kizito.
Mimi natoka Busia mahali jamaa anatoka. Huyu jamaa anatufaili sana.
Ya. Watu wa Busia mnasema representative is not representation.
He is failing us so much, my friend. I just have one issue which I want this guy to tell us.
Yes.
The elections are held up so that people can decide whom are supposed to be in the government and who are supposed to be in opposition. The BBI is telling us we shall have a prime minister, the president, and whatever. If this BBI becomes the law of the land today, and we go to an election, and Raila loses and William Ruto or Ekuru Aukot there becomes our president and he appoints anybody to become a prime minister, will they accept, given that the constitution, what the spirit of the constitution has to be respected in the entire republic, if we decide that the BBI becomes the document of the day, will they accept? He needs to tell us that one. But hii kutuambia mambo mingi hii, kama wanajua kwamba wanataka hii BBI ipite na baba hata kubali matokeo hata BBI ikishapita, then wanatusumbulia nini?
Wanasumbulia nini?
Kweli, wanatusumbulia nini?
Wacha Kizito akipo hiyo.
Wanataka watueleze sasa hivi ya kwamba tunataka BBI na BBI ikipita baba atakubali matokeo. Hebu tuwaambie tunataka tu ipite. Lakini watueleze kama baba atakubali matokeo. That is the problem, my friend. So ndugu yangu toka Busia atueleze, mimi nimekasirishwa na yeye sana.
Muongeleshe na lugha ya nyumbani, labda ndiye ataelewa kidogo.
Wewe Kizito.
Bulira.
kwenya urubore bindu byo bwadiere le urube ya urubora mbwe fana wena BBI ni bibira Raila nakanyambwe umba kumuhira ikura
Anakanya.
Urubora ndio bwana lakini urubora mbwe kwanya sa BBI kuchindele lakini tumnyalo kanyama tokeo so kuona bindu ngore romani
Hubulira.
Okodo amekasirika kweli.
Thank you, Eric.
Okodo.
Yes.
Sasa wewe ukiendelea na bidii hivi ile wiki nyingine hata unapata merchandise. Lakini na Ibrahim vile umeongea Kiluya. Yeye look ni mwana soma kasirika. Jamaa imemwingia kwa spirit. Hizo zingine. Yes.
Hata mimi ndio unaiona na kinapoongea hivi. Mimi ni mwanafunzi nasoma sheria ya chuo cha Mount Kenya University.
Wow, amazing.
2032 mimi nataka kuwa senator wa county ya Busia. Lazima tueleze wakazi wa Busia ukweli na Wakenya ukweli.
Unatosha kabisa. Wacha hata nikupee makofi kwa sababu ya hiyo. Tunataka vijana kwa kiti. Makofi kwako Okodo.
Yes.
Yes.
The spirit of the constitution must be respected. Are they ready to have the spirit of the BBI in the eventually that they lose the election? Are they ready?
Hiyo ndio swala nyeti.
Yes.
And you know Kizito now he as a lawyer in the making.
It's called Okodo.
That's part of the problem we have in this country, that people who keep on saying they want change don't even respect the very document they rely on. I don't know whether you are earlier on when I was explaining how we worked together with Raila to nullify the election of Uhuru in 2017. But the same fellow refuses to use the same constitution to go for a repeat election. So we are being treated to a lot of dishonesty in this country. And people are not really honest. Unfortunately, majority of people are buying into this dishonest political leadership. And, and this is really part of our major problem. And the more conversation we have around this issue, the better actually for this country.
Exactly.
Asante sana Okodo.
Teach this guy about constitutionalism there. Aelewe hii maneno mzuri.
Asante sana Okodo. Hope to see you again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye. All right, I think tufunge masimu. We respond to the issues that have been raised by the callers. Tukielekea kufunga. Nianze na Kizito. Kizito. Mwongelesho nalikuwa sema when you want to speak to a man's heart, you speak them
in his language.
In his language.
Yeah. Okodo has raised a fundamental issue there. And actually, it's all about the leadership that we want to see shaped in this country in the future. And that's why I'm saying, what we are like pushing to have leadership actually with the integrity. And that is, I would say that that's the whole idea. Because what the callers have just brought in, that whether we have this document or even the current constitution that we have, what we need up there is leadership that is able to push this ahead. But I had not responded to the issue of COVID and the doctors, and they realized that is COVID is a very painful thing currently in our country and around the world. It's affecting very many people. Doctors are dying, politicians are dying. So what should happen is we should take this thing seriously, first of all, as citizens, and be able to protect ourselves and our families. And as time goes by, we are seeing that some trials are coming up in terms of vaccines and all that stuff. We're hoping that it will end sooner than later, but it's an issue that we should all take and painfully guard our health as a family and as a nation. So the other thing that I would say that the callers have brought up that we think it's necessary also is the issue of belief in the leadership and in their word. And to me, that is a very critical thing that should actually, we're not just talking because we want to talk, but the thing is the leaders. And what Dr. has actually raised here also, that the leadership that we as the citizenry is electing, do we hold them account to the word that they say? Are they honest to their word? And are we able to hold them account for whatever they are bringing out? So to me, that is the most important thing, even as we move forward and get to the issue of that the government is planning to have this referendum being done. And it's, again, the citizen that should decide the direction that we need to have between now and even in 2022. Thank you.
I think maybe we talk just to add on, right on to that. Of course, the question of responsible or responsive leadership is now on the table. that a leadership that, for example, even in the wake of this pandemic, that they are discussing issues that do not actually relate to the current problem. For example, when you talk about, say, BBI or constitutional amendment, that is costing billions of Kenya shillings at a time when you've got a problem in our healthcare system, education, unemployment over 70%, people losing jobs, people being auctioned. Is that really a responsible leadership? And maybe the question that we need to ask back, to us Kenyans is, are we giving the right people the job? We are giving, you see, leadership is a job. Leadership is a job. So, but are we giving the right people the job? It seems to me that Kenyans also are not questioning what a certain leader says. When we are not interrogating the issues, the promises of leaders. Like, for example, me, I'm not even surprised. Sometimes I'm surprised by the surprise of Kenyans that Jubilee has failed. These people, Kenyans, gave Jubilee the first term from 2013 to 2017. They made certain promises in 2013. Okay? Then again on 2017, they also re-elected them. And so meaning that Kenyans actually never even questioned the earlier lies and promises of Jubilee in 2013. So I think, yes, I agree leadership has failed this country, because anywhere in the world, for any country to prosper, you need a leadership with a certain direction. Actually, it's stewardship. Stewardship. That's what we need. Any country needs. For prosperity, you need stewardship. To take your country to a certain direction, and you have to be deliberate about it. So we should be asking ourselves, why are we giving the wrong people the jobs? Why, for example, I see sometimes people blaming Governor Sonko here in Nairobi. Let's be brutally honest, because we say in the taco we call it a spade. Bitok, Nairobi controls about 60% of the GDP of this country, if not more. It probably has the collection of the most intellectuals in this country. But they made a choice for a governor. Then you have villagers in Makueni who elect a professor.
Do you pick it?
Let's pick it.
It's an international call. It disappeared. Wewe mtu amepiga na international call ukakata sawa. When he comes in, we'll pick it up.
And West Pokot, they pick professors. So we must also now interrogate our own decision making as Kenyans. And especially as the so-called elite in this country. Elite, we are the biggest failures. You remember there's a time I read for you a passage from a man called Brecht Barthold that talks about the political ignorance. Yeah?
I'm thank you, brother. You've been buying me books. I appreciate. Now I'm a better tackler.
Yeah, so now I've given you 3 books so far.
Yeah.
So this idea of us lamenting and sitting on the fence and being bystanders, we need to stop it. We also need to stop people like Kizito who are actually educated, but they are buying into a false narrative called BBI. As you can see, Kizito was not even able to articulate here proposals of BBI. And I don't blame him. Maybe he has not read the report, which is okay. But why is an intellectual like Kizito, for all intents and purposes, Kizito is an intellectual here. He's an elite. He's somebody who ought to know. Why is Kizito thinking the same way like his villager in Busia?
But the villagers have called.
In buying BBI. And you can see, Kizito can see, actually BBI is a lie.
I think he saved.
Kizito is now buying the idea that leadership at the top will unite Kenyans. No. Kenyans are already united. In fact, Kenyans are united in poverty. Kenyans are united now in COVID. Kenyans are united in all their problems. It is the leadership of this country. And for me, I blame people like Kizito who cannot break away and say, no, former Prime Minister, President Uhuru, you are lying to Kenyans about this BBI. You should be able to tell, people like Uhuru and Raila, BBI is not a priority now. These billions of money that we want to spend on the referendum, we can fix the collective bargaining agreement with the nurses, collective bargaining agreement with the teachers, with doctors, and the country will be better. And if you put our money into our healthcare infrastructure, level 4 hospitals in the counties, then we serve the millions of Kenyans. Than saying, let's put this, I'm a proponent of amending this constitution, but to strengthen it. And I've said to Kizito many times that I am pushing for the amendment of constitution through Punguza Mizigo Kenya, but there has to be a benefit that accrues to the public. That's why me, I'm proposing we strengthen devolution. We send more money to the counties. We hold governors directly responsible. We end corruption. We make county assemblies autonomous from county government. Those are proposals I'm putting in Punguza Mizigo, amongst others. You know, we address the question of over-representation because we have to question the value of representation. You can see from our proposals in Punguza Mizigo, there is a value that comes to the general public, even to you, Kizito. Because when I say in Punguza Mizigo, let's use the ward as the primary unit of accelerating development, I'm actually equalizing you from Busia to the people of Nairobi, Kiambu, Nyeri, and the rest. Because one of the conversations that we are scared of having in this country is that...
Guys, hello, good morning.
Yeah.
Your call will be recorded.
Hello. Hello.
Huh?
Yes.
Yes.
Who am I speaking to?
This is Gilbert.
Okay, Gilbert, wambie.
Hello, Gerard.
Salama sana.
Mimi Gilbert, boy, so Arkansas.
Nimeona Arkansas.
Gilbert.
Oh, all the way to the US.
Gilbert.
Nataka nichangie kwa point ya leo.
Tunakusikia bro. Ni kama mawazo imekataa kuingiliana. Haya. Asante. Kizito, by the way, Aukot, you're not finished on, you're not complete on the doctors and COVID-19.
Yeah, I was just saying,
Yes.
I was just saying that one of the conversations we are afraid to have in this country is that there are regions in this country, right from independence, who have enjoyed the benefit of top leadership and therefore maendeleo.
Yeah.
And
COVID uko maliza story ya COVID na madaktari kufanya kazi.
No, I said yeah. COVID, I mean, for me, I was just saying that in the context of, say, Kenya today, really, we should be able to discuss what is priority on the table. Let's look at how COVID-19 has actually devastated our lives. Today, you wake up sometimes you are not even sure, you are afraid of fellow human beings, you can't go to work, you can't go to many. So this for me should be the priority that our country should be focused on, or the leadership of this country should be focused on. There will come a time, even for me, as you know, I slowed down on Punguza Mizigo because I thought it is quite irresponsible of leadership in this country to be pushing for a certain narrative when there is already a pressing problem. And that is COVID-19. So I would say that I think for now, to be honest, we should shelve all matters politics, and just focus on, even if it means helping this government. I have even no problem helping this government, even with ideas on how we can actually combat COVID-19 so that we as a country can survive this pandemic. Because to be honest with you, it's killing people. I mean, it's killing millions of people in the world. Even countries that have got superior healthcare infrastructure compared to ours. So for me, the priority of Kenya now really is how do we revive our economy? How do we make sure that our kids go back to school in 2021? How do we secure a vaccine? I mean, a responsible government should be able now to fund scientists, lock them in a room somewhere and tell them, you guys, you are scientists, find us a vaccine. Because we need to relieve this pandemic. Just like the way other countries are doing. Okay. In Kenya, we are not discussing that. In fact, the other day, our minister was not even talking about vaccine.
How did you know Corona will get it?
Exactly.
That you can prescribe a vaccine. All right, guys. There's a very interesting story here as we finish up. It's on the Standard. On the Standard of page 3, it says, lewd chat derails Brop into Kemsa. I don't know if you read it. No. Lewd chat derails Parliament. Senate committee is investigating COVID-19 tender awards. Lewd chat derails Brop into Kemsa. I'll read very quickly. Virtual meeting ends in disarray of a message. And it says, a parliamentary committee meeting ended prematurely after a senator inadvertently posted an indecent comment during a Zoom session. The virtual meeting had been called yesterday to grill the director of companies entangled in the controversial procurement of COVID-19 essentials to Kenya Medical Supplies Authority, KEMSA. Angelica Medical Director Nicholas Githonga was being grilled by the Senate Health Committee when nominated Senator Millicent Omanga requested that the witness should show his face when addressing participants. We need to see who is addressing us. From his expression, we can deduce so much from the witness. Let him be told to show us his image. Omanga told committee chairman Michael Mbito. Fellow senators agreed with Omanga, with Wajir Senator Abdirahman Ali saying it should be a rule that all witnesses and members who appear on the virtual platform should always reveal their identities. But as Kitonga's grilling was going on, it would appear that some senators were using Zoom's in-meeting chat feature to send private messages to each other. One senator wrote, quote in quote, ni kama chairman amekula. Name withheld. It looks like the chairman has slept withheld and sent the message to the entire group. The comment did not immediately cause a stir until the senator realized it was visible to everyone and spoke out, saying it was wrong and done in jest to the female senator he had named. Apologies. Mr. Chairman, on a point of order, I want to apologize for what I've written. I was only joking with her, and I did not wish to share it with everyone. He said, okay. So, what goes on?
The other thing, talking of our members of parliament, one of the things that is really Kenyans must be angry about is recently after the late Honorable Murunga died, the MP for Matungu, you saw what the leadership in this country prioritized. They actually say they want standby helicopters to airlift them.
Yes.
What about ourselves? What about us as wananchi? Maybe, it is time now we must force the leadership of this country to use public facilities, especially public health facilities. And if they continue to use them, then they will be able to apportion the right resources, allocate resources to those health facilities. During that COVID, during the lockdown, one of the proponents of BBI, took a private charter for a minor surgery in Dubai. A minor surgery. This is Kizito's political godfather. A minor surgery is in Dubai. When we have got the Nairobi hospitals, the Aga Khans, even Kenyatta National Hospitals, the MP Shas. So again, you can see what is our leadership actually prioritizing in Kenya. It is not the Wananchi, it's about them. And for me, I think going forward, and maybe this is my talk, because I have to leave for a meeting, that Kenyans now need to think about themselves. Kenyans need to think about who are we electing to lead us? Are we making the right decisions? That for me is the biggest question now going forward. Do we have leadership that is actually prioritizing the problem of the nation or just about themselves?
All right. That's your tackle of the day.
That's my tackle of the day.
Kizito, what's your tackle of the day?
The tackle of the day is that...
by the way, there's Ekuru, before you go, there's someone who's recommend 3 books that Kenyans can read. Quickly, 3 books.
Ask me to recommend?
Yes, 3 books.
The first one I will recommend is called the one recently, the one that I'm reading, because it's actually about our society, Kenya. Scars of a Nation.
Scars of a Nation?
By Peter Mbuthia.
Scars of a Nation.
Yeah?
Did you really give me that book?
Yeah.
Did you give me
I did not give it to you.
Oh, you are reading it.
Yeah,
You're reading at that time.
Scars of a Nation by Peter Mbuthia. Because it's recounting the post-election violence in Kenya and some of the lessons that we need to do as a country.
Scars of a Nation?
Scars of the Nation.
2.
The other one I would recommend is what is called Fixing Failed States by Claire Lockhart and Ashraf Khan, former president of Afghanistan. And then, of course, the other one that I would recommend for, again, talking about Kenya is Looters.
Looters by the other guy.
Joe Hamisi.
Looters and it was Looters and something.
Looters. Yeah, it talks about corruption in Kenya and recovery from independence. I think those are very interesting books to read at the moment because they talk about our society. It also talks about how we can fix our state when the state is failing. How do we create, for example, a functional state? In Fixing Failed State, they speak about creating a functional state from various perspectives, including civil society, the markets, and all that. So for now, I recommend those ones.
3 books.
Yeah.
Scars of a Nation, Fixing Failed States, and Looters by Hamisi. All right. Kizito.
Actually, it's Ashraf Ghani. Ashraf Ghani. Fixing Failed is Claire Lockhart and Ashraf Ghani.
Okay, so Kizito, your tackle of the day.
The tackle of the day is that even as we are proposing the BBI and to amend the 2010 Constitution, what we should tell the citizenry is, again, as Dr. has said, the leadership really matters a lot. Whoever you're electing it to represent you at grassroots level all the way to the national level matters a lot. And the good thing is what he has actually pointed out, that all these leaders that we have, apparently they only have one vote for themselves, then we give them the other votes. So we should actually exercise our votes well in 2022 and know that however good the document is, however good the constitution is, it's actually the leadership that should be able to fast track its implementation, and we'll always have a prosperous country. And I think that is my tackle, that your vote really counts, and it doesn't matter the type of document that you have that governs. It's all about the leadership that is intent to make this document work. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for coming. Hope to see you again, my good friend Kizito. Tacklers at times can be very rough people because hapa ni uwanja. So usijali, this is why the real punches are thrown and received. So kama umevinywa sana pole, usijali, enda tafuta michungu atakwambia vile kulienda jana ilikuwa mbaya zaidi. My good friend Ekuru, it's always a pleasure to have you, sir. Thank you so much for supporting us. Wacha nisome tu comments hapa quickly kama mjenda, I think for 1 minute. Just go through the comments very fast. Pauline Chero sama Kenyans lack integrity, period. Arun Derry some of these guys who support BBI, why are they not fluent? Alright, give that guys a solution for this. Some they have nothing to explain to us. Dahuda Pema sama, do we really have leaders in this country or puppets and remote control people who know the truth and don't be and want to be done, but they choose to do nothing? Magoa education, cargo health, Amina sports. What parameters do they use? Random selection. Abed Musumbi, by the way, Aukot, can you recommend 3 or 3 books that Kenyans can read and gain some literacy in civic duty? I've already recommended 3 of them that he has recommended. I've posted it on the comments. Nelly Jones nasema do inafaa kuwa BBI, mzigo ni kubwa sana. Alright. Abbas nasema party leaders should start by practicing democracy internally. They always impose leaders to wananchi against their will. People they want are the ones who would have their way in various positions. How do you expect them to accept results in a political competition? Hiyo ni swala nyeti. Teacher Ngasa nasema Ekuru Aukot, you accept that punguza mzigo to be hijacked by BBI. Right now you are complaining about BBI quagmire. James Watasama, some guys don't want to hear don't hear the talk of dynasty. But what do you say of a country where the 2 most powerful leaders are sons of president and his deputy? Swala. Charles Mwalungu wasema in the MP's mentality they still think we are inferior Kenyans. Kodero Aukot sama, I'm the Okoda from Busia. Let Aukot give me his book. Hacha ndamwangelesha kando tuone kama atacheza kama yeye. Basi nasema 4th or 5th book we should be read as a country is the Bible and the Quran. Erickson Odhiambo, the one by Hamisi, is actually 50 years of theft and plunder. Yes. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. The Tackle loves you. This is the Tackle, and the Tackle ends now. I hope to see you again on Monday. Unajua nasemanga tomorrow. Kumbe tomorrow on Saturday. See you guys on Monday. We love you so much. Thank you.